When my husband is sleeping.
Everyone's been asking me how we managed to clean the living room in this hoarder house that we cleaned for free in Paris. So here is a full breakdown of all of the steps that we did. We started by taking out all of the garbage that we could. This is literally like a 30-year time capsule, so we go through everything by hand to make sure we don't throw out anything of importance. Each layer we went through was like a different decade of their lives. The coolest thing I found was definitely the Taylor Swift ticket from 2011. When I do these cleanings, I always make sure to put every memory, photo, and item like this aside in a separate box so they can keep them forever. And sometimes I get the honor of finding special things like this. These were ultrasound photos from 1993. Then we had a quick lunch break before getting right back at it. We lifted the rug and I dealt with the garbage on the floor while Auri went crazy with the dusting. I love the little hand swivel she does. And if I haven't said it before, I'll say it again, nobody loves cleaning like this girl. After 18 garbage bags, we finally had everything removed off the floors, and then Auri got to work on this carpet. There was literally 30 years of dust coming out of this thing. It was one of the things we were asked to keep, so Auri did her thing. Once everything was swept up, we mopped the floors multiple times and soaked everything up with these Velveeta sheets, which are actually meant for oil spills. And just like that, this living room was unrecognizable. We even added some fake plants and decor to make it more homey for him. Knowing that this old man now gets to actually enjoy his living room is the best feeling in the entire world.
I'm sorry, but if you do this shit, or even this shit sometimes, I freaking love you and don't ever change.
Video is exactly 7 seconds long. You show up on people's For You page. Did it work? Let me know.
that I ever saw. It's not singing on my fucking page. I got
This week's free cleaning is at the home of a sweet older couple who have been struggling mentally and physically for a very long time. Their daughter recently contacted me for help after her mom fell in the kitchen and broke her shoulder. At this point, it's becoming hazardous, so I was there within days. It broke my heart that her mom once really loved to cook and bake, but there was not 1 inch of counter space available. I wanted them to properly be able to feed themselves, so I started in the kitchen, and with this much clutter around, I had to work in sections. So I started in one corner and worked my way around the room. I went through all of the cabinets and got rid of anything that was expired, anything that had years worth of dust in it into a donation bin so that they could sort through that later, and then I helped find homes for everything else. I never throw anything out that isn't obviously garbage, or unless it's something the homeowner has asked me to throw out. Also, this is one of the only free cleaning homes I've been to that has a dishwasher. Normally I'm standing there doing dishes for hours, so this was pure grace. I even ended up doing 3 full loads in the 4 hours that I was here. So you can only imagine how much time that just saved me. With that extra time, I went through all of the Tupperware, made sure the lids matched the bottoms, and I ended up throwing out 42 different mismatched lids. Then it was time to tackle this sink area. I could tell by the smell that it was definitely a problem spot. So of course, I brought in the big guns and I started scrubbing with the power paste. All of that gunk and mold came off the countertops with ease. Then I gave the sink a super good scrub down and it ended up sparkling like it was brand new. I get 100 comments on every video asking me how many scrub daddies I go through and how I can afford to use so many different scrub daddy supplies in my free cleanings. And I just have to give a shout out to that company. They are so freaking supportive of all of my free cleanings and all of the work that I do. They send me boatloads of products to make sure I never go without, and I always have everything I need. I can't even begin to tell you how many bottles of this Sif cream I've used on stovetops over the years. And to answer the question from before, I go through at least 10 scrub daddies on free cleaning days. With this comes the question, why don't I reuse them? A lot of my free cleanings are deemed toxic, which means I'm cleaning up mold, rodent droppings, and sometimes even human waste. But it's more so a huge cross-contamination issue. Every time I go to a free cleaning, I use a fresh set of supplies, and when I'm done with the cleaning, I leave it there. This way, they have the tools to continue with the cleaning after I leave. This is another reason why you will always see me on my hands and knees scrubbing the floors, because it's just not feasible to bring a new mop and vacuum every time. So with that, let me just remind you what the kitchen looked like before, and after 4 very quick hours, this is what she looks like now. I can't wait to transform the rest of this house for them.
Come with me to do 4 hours worth of cleaning. Since I was on a little bit of a time crunch today, I didn't expect to completely get through the 4 rooms that I did, but somehow it happened. I went right in with picking up all the trash and collecting all the dishes. I'm literally just walking around each room with a big bag, throwing away any trash I see and collecting the dishes up as I go. Now, of course, I'm going to go back and scrape the food off of these dishes, but for right now, I'm just worrying about getting it all together and getting it out of my way. Big cleans like this can be overwhelming, even for me, and it really helps to get the trash and dishes out of the way first. And with respect to this client, she's a stay-at-home mom to a child with high needs, and she finds herself doing a lot of solo parenting. So as you can see, things have really gotten behind. And when I post big cleans like this, sometimes people say that it'll just look like this again in a week. And while sometimes that might be true, it's not up to me. And I'm just happy it'll at least be clean for a couple days. And I accidentally got some soap in between that glass and couldn't get it out. Whoopsie. And even though there is this little stain on the counter, it cleaned up so good. And I'm gonna come back to mop. Right now I'm sweeping the dining room, kitchen, and living room. And then I move to the bathroom, picking up all the big stuff from the floor and going right into the tub. Don't go at me for cleaning this little seat thing. I couldn't figure out how to get it off. And I figured, it's here. It's getting cleaned. And I'm using cleaner, so it's not gross, right? If you don't have a detachable shower head, how do you rinse your shower? I feel like there's something better than throwing cups of water. I've also seen that you can attach a towel to the scrubber I use, so maybe I'll try that. And putting on this little toilet bowl cling is my favorite part of cleaning the bathroom. What's yours? Something I've been wondering is if the pink stuff spray is a good glass cleaner. I've seen other cleaners use it on glass, but I wonder what it looks like when it dries. So if you've tried it, let me know how it worked out. And these cabinets and drawers that you see right here were pretty empty. So a lot of stuff that was on the counter, I organized into those. Any guesses on the color of the dog's fur? And there was a lot of hair flying around when I was sweeping, so I go over everything with a vacuum too. Now that I'm done vacuuming, I'm going through to mop every room. And I didn't bring my pine saw, so I'm doing 2 passes with my Mr. Clean multi-purpose cleaner. My all-time favorite scent is the lemon. Some clients don't like a lemony scent, or a fragrance in general. But like I said, lemon's my favorite. I started cleaning right at 1, and at this point, it's like 5:05. I could have been there longer and done more, but I'm so happy with what I was able to get done in the time I had. Even though the bathroom wasn't the biggest transformation, it was my favorite room to clean. But looking at the before and afters, which room do you think had the best transformation? Let me know in the comments.